Yeah, it's recording now. Okay. So let's start today's class. So let us have a look as to what is the agenda for today's class. So today we'll be
Okay.
taking Oracle Fusion financial concepts, okay, under which we
Okay.
have user and roles under the identity management. ID means identity management. Then we
Okay.
have data import using ADFDI spreadsheets, which means application development framework, desktop integrator. Then we
Okay.
have file-based data import, also called as FBDI. Then
Okay.
third-party application integration with Fusion Cloud applications. Then we
Okay.
have invoice imaging solution, querying data from database and reporting, and approvals set up using BPM, which is the business
Oh,
process management. Now, see,
okay.
we won't be able to take all the topics in one class, so we'll be splitting that into two classes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start. Yeah. Okay, so here you can see the user and roles. So just let me explain what a user means. Okay, so in Oracle,
Okay.
a user is someone that can connect to a database and optionally, depending on the assigned privileges, can own objects. Own objects meaning like tables and the other kind
Okay.
of a database. Okay.
Okay.
The objects that the user owns are referred to as user's schema. Okay, now what does a
Okay.
schema means? Schema means a representation of a plan or a theory in the form of an outline model. Okay, so
Okay.
now let me give you an example. As you can see here, in the Fusion applications, users have roles through which they gain access to functions and data. Users can have
Okay.
any number of roles. Now let's take this figure as an example where user Linda Jones has 3 roles. Okay, when
Okay.
Linda signs into Oracle Cloud, one second, yeah, when she signs into the Oracle Cloud, she
Okay.
doesn't have to select a role. All of these roles are active concurrently, meaning at the same time. The functions and
Okay.
data that Linda can access are determined by the combination of roles. Like, see, as an employee, okay, Linda can access employee functions and data. Okay, then as a line manager, Linda can access line manager data. Then as a
Okay.
human resource specialist, Linda can access HR specialist functions and data for vision operations. Here you
Okay.
can see that HR specialist vision operations, right? So basically
Yeah.
you will see a lot of vision operations every time you log into the Fusion instance. Now what is,
Okay.
okay, let me even explain what a Fusion instance is. See, in
Hmm.
Oracle, instance contains the set of Oracle database background processes that
Okay.
operate on the stored data and the shared allocated memory that those processes use to do their work. Okay, so basically instance is
Okay.
a combination of databases. Okay, and the Oracle Fusion works on that instance. All right.
Okay.
Now, as I said, you will see a lot of vision operations every time you log into the Fusion instance. Now, what is this vision operations? See, vision operations is basically a fictitious company. I mean, which is not a real company. The vision instance contains sample data and transactions for a variety of modules. The vision is also used for training or to give a preview of Oracle's systems capabilities. Now, when we start the implementation process as to how the Oracle Fusion applications run, you will see this, we'll be working on the vision instance. Okay. So let's move to the next slide. Okay. So types of users. What are the types of users that Oracle has? There's something called as super users. Okay. Then there
Okay.
is IT security manager user, application implementation user, application implementation project manager user, application implementation consultant user. Now let us
Okay.
discuss all the types of users in detail. Now, what does
Okay.
a super user mean? Okay, in Fusion applications, users are not directly assigned access to individual functions and data. Okay, so instead, access is provided through roles. Roles then group all these users for a specific purpose and define their access privileges. Now, during the installation of Fusion applications, Okay, a super user called FA admin, meaning Fusion Applications admin by default, is set up. Okay, with the following roles, which is the application implementation consultant and the IT security manager. Though the super user can be used for Oracle functional implementation as a second security practice, the functional implementation tasks are carried out by one or more special users called as the implementation users. Okay, like you see these implementation users over here. Okay, the initial implementation user is created by the super user. So basically, first we create the super user, then we give the access, for an security manager. So he'll be called as an IT security manager. Further, he can create application implementation project manager user and application implementation consultant user. Okay, this you'll understand more in the next slide. I'll show it to you. Okay, and the super user will be responsible for all the subsequent provisioning. Okay, provisioning meaning providing the actions and the security and the access basically. So what do you do first? The user creation and security management, then your implementation of the project management, then the enterprise structure is created. Then this provides the foundation for HCM task, flows to manage the users and their security. And then at the end, you complete the functional setup. Now let us see an example. Okay, so this, as you see here we create the super user. Now you can see in the vertical side, they've written something like OIM administrator. Okay, so this is basically identity management. In that you create the super user. Okay, it's called as the Oracle Identity System Administrator, right? Then, okay, moving ahead, I'll explain you how it goes. In order to create an implementation user, the following activities need to be performed, which is prepare the super user. So see here, you can have a look. Where's my cursor? Yeah, here you can see this, you can read this. Prepare the super user for user management and control. Then prepare IT security manager role for user and role management. Okay, then after the first and the second step is you're preparing, okay, for the roles in the OIM administrator. Then after configuring and offering and setting up the task lists for implementation, you run the user and roles synchronization process task is available to the super user for synchronizing users and roles. You prepare the super user and the IT security manager job role. Then you run it so that your user and roles are synchronized. So that, hello? Yeah, what happened? You're not able to hear me?
Right? Ma'am, I can able to hear you.
Hello, are you able to hear me, Mr. Durai?
I think, ma'am, problem is at his end only.
Yeah, correct.
Because I am hearing now.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I'm hearing. Yeah.
Okay, so should I continue? Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, fine. See, in the first two steps, you are preparing the roles. Okay, first you create the super user, then you are preparing for the role of the IT security manager job. Then the third step would be you run the process wherein the user and roles are synchronized. Okay, so that you give access and you create another implementation user. Okay. So once the synchronization is completed, like the user and the job role synchronization is completed, then you create the implementation users.
Okay.
Then here the run and user role synchronization process task is available to the super user for synchronizing users and roles. Fine. In the LDAP store. Now, what is this LDAP store? See, LDAP stands for Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. I told you, right? So this will be a stage where you're going to give the access to the user. Okay. Now, the role of LDAP is to take care of the Oracle Fusion application users users accounts and role information. Now, when we create the user accounts and assign roles to the existing user, all this process happens in the LDAP directory. Okay. Another
Okay.
important point is that once we create a new user or attach new roles to the existing user, we also need to send this information continuously from LDAP directory to the Oracle Fusion application, so that all the necessary details of it is recorded in the LDAP directory. So how do we do that? Okay, we do that by running the run user and roles synchronization process. You see this here?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes, Mr. Durai.
சொல்லுங்க கார்த்திக். இல்ல 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 கார்த்திக், கிளாஸ்ல இருக்கோம். ஸோ அதனால தான் கார்த்திக் அட்டன் பண்ண முடியும். முடிச்சிடுறேன் கார்த்திக். ஓகே. இல்ல 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 அதெல்லாம் எதுவும் இல்லை கார்த்திக். கம்பெனி தான் கார்த்திக். 4 to 1 தானே? 4 to 1 கார்த்திக்? ஓகே. இல்ல இல்ல வீட்ல இருந்து எடுத்துட்டு வந்தேன் கார்த்திக். ஆமாம். டெஸ்க்டாப் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க ஒன்று. ஓகே ஓகே, நான் ஃபார்ம் பண்ணிட்டு நான் உங்களுக்கு சொல்லிடுறேன். ஓகே, ஃபில்அப் பண்ணிட்டு. ஓகே ஓகே.
Hello.
Hello? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am. Really sorry. There is some serious internet connectivity problem.
Okay.
That is okay now. That is okay now.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Let us continue. Okay. Fine. Let us continue.
Okay.
So, okay. I was at the LDAP directory, right? Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
See, another important point is that once we create a new user or attach new roles to the existing user, we also need to send this information continuously from LDAP directory to the Oracle Fusion applications, so that always the the data information about the user and the role is stored in the Fusion applications through the directory. So now how do we do that? We do that by running the run user and roles synchronization process. You see here the yellow highlighted part of it. Once you run that, automatically the LDAP directory sends the information to the Oracle Fusion. Okay. Now super user is provisioned with roles that provide broad access to Oracle Fusion middleware and Oracle Fusion application administration. Okay. Super user should at least define one implementation user. Now you can see here, you should define at least one implementation user. Yes, which consists of creating the user account and provisioning it with at least the application implementation project manager job roles. So once you create another implementation user, okay, then he in turn can create another implementation user who will take care of the project management. Okay. So here basically in Fusion what happens is you create users through which you create a super user creation is a must, to start with, to do anything in Fusion applications. So once you create a super user, the super user will create an IT security manager job role. Okay, that after that, once the IT security job role is created, you give the access to that IT security job role. Okay, this is not a person based roles. All right, everybody can create this. Like in HR, a person is being given that role, like HR specialist or HR employee or something like that. Here it doesn't work like that. You have to create user and then you create the roles, not necessarily person based. Okay, then you can create another implementation user who will take care of the particular department, like the project management here for an example. All right, then you give access.
We have to create the users and the roles.
Yeah, you do that. See, you do that. Correct, you do that. But this is not a person oriented. Right? A super user can be your implementation user also. You're not creating a separate job profile for a person. Okay. These are mainly created for the creation of your projects. Like
Okay.
suppose you want to start a, you want to start a GL. First, for that, the first and the primary step is to create a super user, which has the authority to create IT security management job role. Then that role will be assigned access towards security. Once
Okay.
that is done, then you create all different implementation users, which will take care of different projects.
Okay.
Okay, like the project
Okay.
management or the consultant job role.
Okay, ma'am.
Then
Okay.
you'll start creating IDs for your employees. That is at the later stage.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
the employee stage come at that is for the end user. Okay, but when you are
Okay.
creating, yes, that is for the end user. This is for the
Okay.
creation, I mean, for the implementation of the Fusion applications.
Okay. Thank you. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So as a security guideline, we have to define an IT security manager user who in turn defines one or more implementation users to set up enterprise structures. Okay, as in the first class, I showed you how an enterprise structure of a Fusion applications look like. If you've gone through it, do you remember how it looks like? You have the enterprise and you have the division. I had given you
Yes, ma'am. You
structure.
shown as an example of
Yeah,
the
yes. I
company,
had shown it in Excel sheet.
US-based
Okay,
company. Okay.
yes. So then you create see, this is all the implementation part, because you being a functional consultant, you are first implementing the Fusion applications. Don't think the end user wise. When you were
Okay.
talking about the
Okay.
roles, no, you're thinking to the end user. That comes at the later stage, after you create and install all the Fusion applications, what your client wants. You need to create first the enterprise structure, and then you create offerings. You kind of start installing offerings what your client wants, like the financial offering. Okay, so they will ask for general ledger and the accounts payable and accounts receivable, everything. So this is all the implementation part of it. And at the after you implement everything, then the end user comes in and you show him how to do how to access the information and all that. Then you start creating your employee IDs and all that. All right.
Okay.
So that's how it works in Fusion. Okay, so moving ahead, I was talking about the IT security manager. Okay, IT security manager user can provision the implementation user with the application implementation consultant role, which entitles access to all enterprise structures. Okay, so now here you are creating a consultant job role wherein you are giving the authority to access all the information about the project or the enterprise structure. Okay, or the IT security manager can create a data role that restricts access to enterprise structures of a specific product and provisioning that role. So here the IT manager has that power to give access to the users or restrict the access to the users. So here you can see this, right? You can see here he has the access for everything, but here it gets restricted.
Okay.
Then depending on the size of your implementation team, you may only need a single implementation user for security administration. Okay, again here they're mentioning about the size of the company. Suppose if you have a huge company, you need separate implementation users for your separate departments. Okay, like the project management, then you have the enterprise structure setup and the application implementation. That single user must then be provisioned with all indicated roles in broad access. Okay, so when it's a single setup of a single implementation user, that single implementation user will have the access for everything. But no, if you're saying it's a huge company, I have different departments, so you'll create a different implementation user for different departments, where he might be given access only to his specific department, or say maybe if he's on a maybe you can combine two departments and give access, or even restrict. So depending on the company's or your client's needs, you decide on how to give access or restrict access. Okay, so suppose a super user creates one or more implementation users by performing the create implementation user task. As an alternative to provisioning an implementation user with the application implementation consultant role to access all enterprise structures, You may need implementation users with access restricted to enterprise structure for specific products. Like in this case, I said, no, here they're restricting. Yeah, in this case, we use the create data roles for implementation user to create a data role based on a job role with less broad access here. Okay.
Okay.
See, you will understand all this better once we start implementing. But before that, you need to learn the theory. You need to understand how the whole process works. Okay, so only when you understand the whole process, then you can correlate with the practicals.
Practical. Right? Yeah. First, I have to understand the step by step.
Yes.
How it works.
Correct. Okay. So, I mean, you go through this slide again. I'm sure you'll definitely still get confused. I will again, clear your doubts in this. Okay. So basically, it's nothing. The super user is important, to whom you're going to, through which you'll be creating an IT security manager job role. Then you what you do is you run, so that you run the process for synchronization of user and roles. Then you create multiple implementation users. You can create a single implementation users. Okay, you can give access or restrict access depending on your client's needs, or you can create more implementation users. Again, that depends on your client's needs. Okay. So that is a basic core of what a super user and the creation of roles are basically. So do you, Sethuraman, do you want to add anything here?
Durai.
Yes, sir.
The synchronization சொல்றாங்கல்ல மேம்.
Yeah.
அது என்னன்னு புரியுதா உங்களுக்கு? சிங்க்ரனைஸ் புரியுதா? நான் ஒண்ணே எக்ஸாம்பிள் தட்டுமா?
Okay.
Can I give you an example? See, in some cases, in some websites, or you may come across, but when you enter a data, you put it will ask you to save. Okay.
Yeah.
It will ask you to save. Then after saving, it will ask you another to click a submit button. To click a submit button. Why? Because you are entering the data and it is getting saved. When you click the submit button, whatever the data you have entered, it will be synchronized. When you enter the submit button, it will get synchronized. Submit button final கொடுப்பீங்க பாருங்க. சேவ் பண்ணிட்டு இப்போ நீங்க you have seen some IT இதெல்லாம் உங்க இதுல கூட செல்ஃப் சர்வீஸ் போர்ட்டல் இருக்கும். அதுல what you come across is they will enter the உங்களுடைய இன்வெஸ்ட்மென்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் they will ask you to enter and you ask you to verify and you will be asked to save and also you can do it an edition. Okay. Then, and afterwards what you will do, finally they will ask you to submit.
Okay.
So once submitted means you can't do anything. So submitted, the data will get synchronized. That is called. Okay, ma'am. You can.
Okay, fine. So we'll move to the next slide. Okay. So the next is the architecture of functional roles. Now, what is the architecture of functional roles? See, Fusion applications security is designed based on role-based access control. Okay, so yesterday sir was talking about all the terminologies. Sir explained what role-based access control is, right? So what is it? Basically, it is an approach to restricting access to authorized users. Okay. As I previously mentioned, you have the super user, the IT security manager. Once he creates the implementation user, that user has you can actually give a broad access or restrict that access. Okay, so that is what is role-based access control. So in general, it's the role-based access control is called as RBAC in short. Okay, so I'll be referring I'll be saying RBAC, so that means it's role-based access control. Okay, so in general, RBAC normalizes access to functions and data through user roles. Now I mentioned once you create a super user, then you have to prepare for the IT manager role. Yeah, you understood? Then see, that's what it's trying to it's trying to say. that RBAC normalizes access to functions and data through user roles. Then the user access is based on the definition of the roles provision to the user. Okay, so basically the user and roles are interrelated. So only if you create a user and a role, then only like you can give access to the user and role. Okay, you got that point, right?
Yeah, yes, ma'am, I got that
Yeah,
point.
okay. Then RBAC secures access in a who can do what on which functions or sets of data under what conditions approach. Okay, now the who over here is the user. I'll repeat this once again. RBAC secures access in a way like who can do what on which functions or set of data under what conditions approach. The who over here is the user. You got it?
What? Okay, what means set of data?
Yeah, set of data, functions or sets of data. See, like what amount of access a person would get, depending on what conditions.
Okay.
Okay, so suppose a general manager will get an access only till his sales of say a particular product. Okay, so he might not have he will be given access only to his country or his territory. He might not have the access of another country. Suppose the company has its branches throughout the country. I mean, throughout the world. Okay, so that particular person will have access only till his territory. He cannot access and see information about the other country's details. Other branches, one of the other branches which is located in another country, he will not have access to that. So that is what RBAC means. It secures access, restricts, and also grants access. Okay, that is the structure of RBAC. Okay. Now, sir, do you want to give an example here, Seturaman sir, for him to understand in a better way?
Right. Right.
Yes, sir.
புரியுதா மேம் சொல்றது புரியுதா?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, got it, no? You got it,
yeah,
no?
I got it.
See, suppose if you're not able to understand, just, stop me right there. Like even Seturaman sir can give examples because he is more experienced and he has a market experience better than me. All right. So he's in a better position to explain it to a ground level. All right. So if you've not understood anything, just, stop me right there and you can ask. Okay, if you're not understood anything. Okay. So let's move ahead. Okay, so the roles are defined at functional and technical levels. Okay, we're running out of time. We will again rejoin. We'll take a break of 5 minutes.
Yeah,
I think it's still we have 9 minutes, sir. It is
9 minutes. After 5 minutes,
okay, after
we can.
5 minutes, yeah, sure.
Madam, after 5 minutes, you leave. You click leave only.
Okay, only leave. Okay.
Leave. Then it is easy for you to relog in.
Okay, fine, sir. Okay, I should not click on the end meeting for all, right?
Don't.
Okay, fine, sir, no problem. Okay, so where was I? The roles are defined at functional and technical levels. See, the functional level is the business definition that is used for business users. Okay, and the technical level is the implementation of roles using Oracle technology. So basically the roles are defined in two levels. One is the functional as well as the technical. Functional level is the business for the business users, and the technical level is for the implementation of roles using Oracle technology. That is for us, for the functional consultants who are implementing the Fusion applications to the client.
Okay.
Got it? That's how we start with I told you, right? The end user is the business user.
Yeah.
Right. So for us, we are the technical part of.
We are the technical implementation.
Yes,
okay.
Correct. Okay.
Durai, sorry, ma'am.
Yes, no problem. Yeah.
Durai.
Yes, sir.
At present, you are working, no?
Yes, sir.
You are a business user. Okay.
Yeah, I am an end user.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in your company, there may be consultant, outsourced or something. IT consultants will be there, no?
Yeah. Yes.
They will do
implementation.
Implementation. That is. You are end user. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So at high level, RBAC is based on concepts like the following, like the role assignment, role authorization, and permission authorization. Now let's understand what each of these roles are. Okay, so role assignment, basically here a user can exercise permission only if the user has selected or has been assigned a role. Okay. And the next one is the role authorization, wherein a user's active role must be authorized for the user with the rule of role assignment. Okay, this rule ensures that users can take on roles for which they are authorized. Right?
Okay.
I'll explain it to you in the next
So
slide.
yeah.
Tell me, what doubt did you have?
Yeah,
See, I'll repeat
this role
again. I'll repeat from role assignment again. Okay. Now, what does a role assignment means is assigning. Okay. So a user can exercise permission, okay, to access, basically permission to enter or to access anything. A user can exercise permission only if the user has selected or has been assigned a role. Now, how can you enter? How can you log into a web so your say Oracle portal or maybe even a Fusion application for that matter? You need a user ID and a password, right?
Yeah.
So for that, you should be an employee of the company, and only after you are signed in your contract of employment, then they would assign you a user ID and a password. That's how you enter, right? Otherwise you have no access unless and until you've been assigned a role. Then you can exercise permission of getting it. Right? Okay, then comes the role authorization. Now a user's active role, okay, this is very important. A user's active role must be authorized for the user with the rule of role assignment. This rule ensures that users can take on roles for which they are authorized. Okay, so it's not only like your role is been assigned. Once you enter into the system, you need access, right? You need authorization to access information. See, so that is what is called as role authorization, right? Okay. Then comes the permission authorization. Now here, a user can exercise a permission only if the permission is authorized of the user's active role, which is the first two parts of the role assignment and role authorization. Now, with rules of assignment and authorization, this rule of permission authorization ensures that users can exercise only permission for which they are authorized. Okay, basically, even that authorization is also limited. As I said, we are using the RBAC here, role-based access control, right? You have been assigned a role, you have been authorized to, see. Okay, now let me give you an example of a PDF file. Okay, now somebody sends you a PDF file, but you you can't make any changes to it. It's only a read-only access. Right? You're getting my point. So unless and until you're given permission authorization, you can't edit that PDF file. So this is what permission authorization means, right? See, role assignment is that you can open. Now they have shared, a PDF file through Drive, through their email ID. Okay. Unless and until that person has given you the access to open the PDF file through Drive, you can't open it. So he has to give that, he has to allow you to see that PDF file. Okay, so you have opened, you go to the authorization, they've been authorized, you have been authorized, you open the PDF file, but it's only a read only option there. You can't read and write. I mean, you can't make changes to it. That comes in the next stage, which is called as a permission authorization, wherein you have been given the authorization and the permission to make changes in the PDF file. All right. So, okay, this you take it to the roles in a company. Okay. Got it? Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. Moving ahead, we have we have different types of functional roles again.
Remaining time is low now.
Okay, 3 minutes. Okay, we'll come back after 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stop the video then. Okay. All right. One second.